Have you ever wondered what would happen if Russia collapsed? A hypothetical yet intriguing question, sure to set minds racing. This scenario, while unlikely, is worth exploring as it presents a complex web of possibilities, both fascinating and daunting. To understand the potential implications of such an event, it's essential to delve into Russia's geopolitical position and its role in global politics. As the world's largest country by land area, spanning 11 time zones and home to a diverse mix of cultures and languages, Russia has always been a force to reckon with. Historically, Russia's influence has been profound. From the Mongol yoke in the 13th century to the rise of the Russian Empire in the 18th and the formation of the Soviet Union in the 20th, Russia's impact has been felt across the globe. It has often been a key player in shaping the course of world events, whether through military might, diplomatic maneuvering, or economic influence. In the post-Soviet era, Russia emerged as a major player on the global stage, albeit with a changed political structure and economic model. Despite the chaos and turmoil of the 90s, it managed to re-establish itself, maintaining its status as a nuclear superpower and a key figure in international diplomacy. Its rich natural resources, particularly oil and gas, have made it an indispensable part of the global economy, while its geopolitical strategies continue to shape world politics. Yet Russia, like any nation, is not immune to potential instability. Economic challenges, political unrest, and social upheaval are all factors that could, in theory, lead to a state's collapse. For Russia, with its vast size, diverse population, and complex political structure, the ramifications would be particularly far-reaching. Now, imagine a world where this giant nation ceases to exist as we know it, a world where the map needs to be redrawn, power dynamics shift, and the ripple effects are felt far and wide. The hypothetical collapse of Russia would undoubtedly be a game-changer, not just regionally but globally. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this fascinating topic. How would the global economy react to such an event? Now that's a question worth pondering. To grasp the potential economic fallout, we first need to understand Russia's current economic standing. Russia is the world's 11th largest economy by nominal GDP, and with around 30% of the world's natural resources, its economic footprint is significant. Russia is the largest exporter of natural gas and the second largest exporter of oil globally. This makes it a pivotal player in the energy sector, an industry that underpins the global economy. Imagine a scenario where this contribution abruptly vanishes. The immediate impact would be a substantial hike in energy prices worldwide. Countries heavily reliant on Russian oil and gas, such as Germany and China, would be hit hard. In the short term, this could lead to energy shortages and increased costs for consumers and businesses alike. But the repercussions wouldn't stop there. Russia also plays a key role in the global food supply chain as one of the world's largest exporters of wheat. A sudden cessation of this supply could lead to a rise in global food prices, impacting households worldwide. Moreover, consider the domino effect on the global financial system. Russia's collapse would likely trigger a significant devaluation of the Russian ruble, potentially leading to a financial crisis. This would be felt by international banks with substantial loans to Russian businesses, potentially causing a ripple effect through the global banking system. The economic implications of Russia's collapse would stretch beyond its borders, affecting global trade, energy, and food security. It would also challenge the global financial system, testing its resilience in the face of such a significant shock. In the long term, the world economy may adjust and find new suppliers. However, the transition would likely be painful and disruptive, with the burden falling disproportionately on those least able to bear it. The economic implications of Russia's collapse would indeed be far-reaching. Such a scenario underscores the interconnectedness of today's global economy and the potential for significant disruption when one of its key players suddenly exits the stage. What about the political implications of such a collapse? This is a question that sends shivers down the spines of many political analysts worldwide. Imagine a world where the Russian bear no longer roars. The first thing to consider is the immediate power vacuum that would ensue. Russia, despite its economic woes, still possesses a significant military force and nuclear arsenal. Without a central power, the control of these forces would be up in the air, causing global unease. Let's consider the neighboring countries first. Nations like Ukraine, Belarus, and the Baltic states, which have had historical tensions with Russia, might see this as an opportunity to reclaim lost territories or assert their independence more forcefully. On the other hand, they might also fear the chaos spilling over their borders. Then there are the global powerhouses, United States, China, and the European Union. Each could react differently to the power void. The U.S., with its history of stepping into power vacuums, might feel compelled to intervene, either directly or indirectly, to prevent any potential threats to global security. China, on the other hand, might see this as a chance to extend its influence further into Asia and Eastern Europe. The Silk Road economic belt, part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, could potentially expand into the vast, resource-rich Siberian landscape. The European Union would find itself in a precarious position. With Russia's collapse, the EU could either face an influx of refugees or an increase in regional instability. The EU's response would likely be guided by a desire to maintain regional stability and security. Lastly, we must not forget about the potential for increased geopolitical tension. Countries may engage in a high-stakes game of chess, jockeying for position and influence in the new political landscape. The fallout could result in new alliances, conflicts, and a reshuffling of global power dynamics. The political landscape would certainly shift dramatically. The world as we know it would change, and the effects could ripple out for decades, shaping the geopolitical landscape of the future. And let's not forget the people. What would happen to them? In the face of a hypothetical collapse of Russia, the social and cultural consequences could be profound and far-reaching. The heart and soul of any nation are its people. And in Russia, a country of over 140 million, the human implications are staggering. Imagine, if you will, the potential for a humanitarian crisis. The collapse of a nation often brings about a breakdown of law and order, leading to a rise in crime, violence, and civil unrest. This could be the reality for millions of Russians, forced to navigate a world where basic services and infrastructure are no longer reliable. Add to this the potential for food shortages, lack of medical supplies, and inadequate access to clean water, and we are looking at a dire picture indeed. The most vulnerable, the elderly, the young, those with disabilities, would likely bear the brunt of this hardship. But beyond the physical needs, there would also be a profound impact on the cultural identity of the Russian people. Russia is a nation steeped in a rich and complex history, its identity intertwined with its political and social structures. A collapse might lead to a struggle for cultural preservation, as the people grapple with the loss of a collective identity that has been centuries in the making. Furthermore, the psychological impact cannot be underestimated. The uncertainty, fear, and instability brought about by such a collapse can lead to widespread anxiety and depression, further exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. And then there's the issue of displacement. A collapse could lead to millions of Russians becoming refugees, seeking shelter and safety in neighboring countries and beyond. This would not only strain the resources of these host countries, but also lead to a significant loss of human capital for Russia. In short, the social and cultural consequences of a hypothetical collapse of Russia are enormous and multidimensional. They touch every aspect of life, from basic survival to cultural identity and psychological well-being. The human cost could be immense. How would the world respond to such a catastrophic event? This question lingers in the air like the remnants of a chilling winter. As we've explored the hypothetical collapse of Russia, we've delved into the economic, political, and social implications. But what about the global response? What role would international organizations play? And how would humanitarian aid and international intervention shape the aftermath? In the immediate aftermath of such a collapse, international organizations would likely spring into action. The United Nations, the World Bank, and other global entities would have a unique responsibility to stabilize the situation. They would need to coordinate efforts to provide immediate assistance, financial support, and resources to help rebuild the country. It's a daunting task, but one these organizations have been built to manage. Humanitarian aid would be another vital component of the global response. Non-governmental organizations, charities, and even individual nations would likely rally to provide food, shelter, medical aid, and other necessities to the Russian people. The international community has a history of rallying together in times of crisis, and this situation would be no different. Then there's the potential for international intervention. Countries like the United States, China, and European Union members may feel compelled to step in, either to prevent further chaos or to protect their own interests. The nature of this intervention could vary greatly, from diplomatic efforts to military action. Each possibility carries its own set of risks and rewards, and the global community would need to tread carefully to avoid exacerbating the situation. The hypothetical collapse of Russia would be a crisis of unprecedented scale, demanding a response that is equally unprecedented. It would test the mettle of our global institutions and challenge our collective capacity for empathy and cooperation. In the face of such a crisis, the world would have to come together. It would be a testament to our shared humanity, a reminder that despite our differences, we are all part of the same global community, and together, we have the power to overcome even the most daunting challenges. In the end, the world's response to a hypothetical Russian collapse would be a reflection of who we are as a global society.